My morning's been a mad rush. You know when you just don't get enough sleep and then you feel like any kind of time crunch just feels like the most frustrating thing in the world?
I wish I could get back to time crunches. Time crunches were so fun.
Oh, there wasn't really a time crunch. I woke up at 6:30 from Darla, and that, I couldn't get around that, but I went to bed at like 1, so only had like 5.5 hours of sleep. So now your whole day is just like, and then had to catch the new episode of Knight Rider in the morning, right? Keep it fresh. Get all that shit together. Don't have time to make breakfast. Someone calls, hey, can I pop by? Say hi to Darla. Yeah, no problem. Okay, but you got to you got to get in and out 5 minutes. I got a podcast to record. Okay, that comes in. Okay, she's getting all wound up. She doesn't know how to walk yet. Oh, boy. Literally nothing has gone on, but it's when you don't get enough sleep, your mind just goes to, this is terrible. It's already 9 o'clock. What have I done today? You know how it is, Cam.
It's 9 o'clock. It's a Saturday morning. I'm still drinking coffee. What? Yeah. I should be finished my coffee by now and on to my...
I should have had 3 workouts in. Should be at the dog park already.
Because, Cam, after 9 a.m., you're trying this new thing, the celery water cleanse. You're just sort of letting celery sit for so long that all the moisture just falls right out of it. And then you drink that. It's really popular. Yeah. That's why celery costs so much money these days, is everyone's, Cam, you alongside other people, you're all doing the celery water cleanse.
Yeah, it's running through my guts.
Yeah, not much nutritional information really retaining there. Just
0.
It's just celery water.
That's the good stuff. That's what you sign up for.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't do those crazy diets. I did do a water cut that one time to try and win a competition. And I went keto for that month, and I lost like 10 pounds.
But you lost the competition, so what was it all for?
Oh,
we went over this on a previous episode.
Yeah, we went in depth.
You lost. It was because it wasn't something the people you were along the sides with. Like they just had more weight to lose. You don't have much weight to lose to begin with.
No, not much. I'm pretty damn lean, so that didn't help the cause.
You don't have much excess that can kind of go somewhere.
No, I mean,
see, I'm in that same boat. I don't have just like 20 pounds to lose. If I lose 20 pounds, there's
nothing left.
That's sickly. I'm emaciated at that point.
You've lost the leg at that point.
Mm-hmm. And that's my hollow leg that we're talking about.
You got a hollow leg?
Yeah. Nothing
What's it
in
filled
it.
With?
I fill it with food, and that food turns to poop. I never got that expression, when you're a kid and you're hungry and they say you must have a hollow leg.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Oh, you've never heard that?
No.
Oh, I've heard that one a lot. No, that's, you're a kid, you're eating a lot of food. Oh, you must have a hollow leg because in theory, I guess it can't all go to your stomach or something like that. Like it's whimsical and quippy, but it completely disregards any sort of like, kind of like digesting information completely, because if let's say you had all your food go straight to your leg.
I don't think you need to explain to the audience how a hollow leg wouldn't make sense for a diet. Maybe you do. I don't know who our listeners are.
I have no idea who the listeners. I have no idea. Well, I mean, most of our listeners are kind of into us for our charitable donations. I find not so many people listening to the podcast for actual
for our scientific.
Yeah, for actual
discussion.
Information. It's mostly just people wanting to give us large amounts of money. Shout out to Felicia Satodi. People in this similar ilk,
Yeah, It's a generous gang, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Cam. You know what we haven't done yet?
Notes or introductions.
We haven't kicked it.
Continuing tonight on Two Cees in a Pod. 96.7 on your.
Two Cees in a pod, 2 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 Cees just like 2 Cees in a pod, because we're 2 Cees in a pod, just like 2 Cees in a pod, 2 Cees in a pod at gmail.com. You get louder every single time you say that, Cam. Welcome to 2 Cees in a pod. You know what you're listening to. It's a podcast that's hosted by myself, Cameron Osborne. It's also hosted by Cam LeClaire.
Just a couple dudes sipping some coffee.
A couple dudes sipping some coffee on a Monday morning.
Remember those days? Remember those days where you'd be sitting in the Timbs with your boys? You know, you wake up from slamming the old salmonella clamor from the night before. You hook up with the old buddies from Boston. You say, "Oh boy, let me tell you. Oh, when we got out of Frankie's last night, oh fuck, she was a screamer."
Jesus Christ. I've never had a conversation like that, Cam, so don't speak for me.
Double, please.
Well, yeah, Cam, deep roots in there in Boston, Cam. One thing I love about your, this Two Cees Pod, twoceesinapod@gmail.com. Cam, one thing I love about your hockey fandom is that you are a Boston Bruins fan. Just ask the big moose. Is it a moose that's in the at your parents' house, just kind of like
Correct.
propped up there in the lake, covered with Boston Bruins paraphernalia?
No, it is painted on it has a Bruins jersey.
Now there must be such a dichotomy or such a difficult decision to make, because you could go to Boston and cheer as a Bruins fan, but as soon as they heard that your last name is French Canadian, they would say probably the most horrible things that has ever been said to you. Cam, how do you and your family feel as Bruins fans, knowing that the fans who you cheer alongside with would chastise you just for your background?
I think it's only fair. I think the Habs are despicable.
Going the other way with that.
I don't think they deserve even to have an NHL team. Personally,
No. This has nothing. This has nothing to do with Les Habitants de Montréal. No,
I understand that, but as you know, it's not the team I don't like. It's the fans, and me having blood there, it is disgusting. It's a terrible place.
Interesting.
I don't look fondly upon my ancestors from Quebec. I think they're all terrible people, and I'm glad we moved to Ontario. And we have a deep roots in Boston. Yeah.
Really? So this is interesting, Gabriel. You're really going the other way with it. You're sort of you want the people of Boston to celebrate their xenophobia, not look the other way, and sort of maybe look to improve themselves as people. No, you really want them to lean into their hatred of anything non-Anglo-Saxon.
I think the word you mentioned there is improve themselves as people. How do you improve on perfect?
Interesting. When you see somebody, hacking a couple darts outside of a Dunkin' Donuts in Massachusetts, you're thinking to yourself, that is the epitome of grace.
That is the ideal male character.
Interesting, yeah. With the kind of like it's not like a 5 o'clock shadow. It's a I haven't shaved in 4 days. It's completely different.
It'll be 5 years from now and be like, well, COVID was a tough one. It's like, yeah, we moved on fast. Like, I tell you, brother, one of these days that Serb check's going to come in.
Down there in Atlanta, they keep saying, shit's going round down here.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I spoke to a couple months ago one of my cousins who lives in Atlanta, and that was the way they all phrase it when they're at the supermarket, at the restaurant, meet up with your friends. Oh, shit's going round down there.
Interesting. Georgia, home of the Masters. Did you manage to catch that?
One of the days, I think.
The final day, probably.
No, it was like the second day.
I find that tournament's kind of like basketball, where you don't really need to watch the whole thing, but catching the last quarter is very good if it's a close game.
I think you're just describing golf.
Oh, I guess. I mean,
I guess you don't need to watch days 1, 2, and 3 of the Masters. It's all about that final day.
Correct. I thought it was pretty fun to watch. It was my first time watching the Masters because I was a little bit tired that day. Got home. Like, good thing to put on the TV. And you're like, my afternoon is laying on the couch, fall asleep, wake up. Okay, you look at that. He's up 2 now. Oh, he's in the sand trap. All right, I'll make some lunch. All right, he get out of the sand trap.
Yeah, it's nice that it's something that's just on. I like sports that are on for a long time. The longer the sport, the better. Also, I remember we got this like big. My dad, we got like an HGTV super early on. It was probably it was like 55 inches. It had the huge back behind it, but it was flat screen. It was
that thick TV Latina booty.
Yeah, it had that thick booty behind there, and it was this is a large TV, super HD. But golf and NASCAR were the first two, were like the two best sports to watch on an HD TV. Golf, it's the blues of the skies, the greens of the earth, and then NASCAR is
right,
just
the whites of the people.
The whites of the people, and then it's just NASCAR's super colorful. Just all the cars have a different color, all the sponsors have a different color. And those were like two sports when like the first time you watch them in HD, you're like, oh wow, this is amazing. But hockey in HD, it didn't land the same way. It's just a bunch of people
doesn't have that same pop.
chasing a little black puck on a white ice. It's like very different, but those two sports, just walk back, all you're doing at that point, Cam, you're just appreciating landscaping. You're lying down on your couch, you wake up, you're like, oh, that fairway is very nicely tended to, and you fell back asleep, and then you'd wake up, and you're like, wow, that sand bunker is such a crisp white, and then you fall back asleep. Like, you're not really even paying attention to the score. You're mostly in it for the landscaping.
Yeah, I mean, you were a former landscaper, so maybe that's what you're looking for. I just go to see the meltdowns when you see a guy on and 2 and then 4 putts it just like I do.
Just like you do. It makes you feel more like...
Oh, it makes me feel human. I had a golf game scheduled for yesterday morning, and then it was supposed to be cold. My buddy's like, hey, don't sweat it, brother. We'll just we'll do it another time. Golf's never going to go away. That afternoon, the government says, yeah, you're done golfing for the season, big fella. Put those clubs away.
Put those clubs away.
Yeah, so that was disappointing.
Put the dirt back on your golf shoes.
Put the dirt back on your golf shoes, throw them in the box, put them in the shed, throw the ladder on top of the shed, throw the Christmas decorations on top of the box, and say goodbye because the Christmas decorations are coming out first.
Yeah, Christmas decorations coming out. We're getting a little jump here early too. Instead of like a just December advent calendar, we're sort of doing a May to December advent calendar. So we're just going to be eating chocolate all the time.
Love it.
All the
Gotta
time.
love a good piece of chocolate.
I got a couple rounds in yesterday morning.
Oh yeah, it's for all. That's probably banned now too, though, isn't it?
Yes, but we snuck in there, got a couple rounds in.
Yeah.
Good. Played a skins match in the second round. First round, you're practicing, you're warming up. You're not necessarily keeping score, but that second round took home the skins victory, and
beautiful.
That's all I got to say.
Congrats, champ.
Thank you very much.
I was thinking about going to play basketball by myself today, but apparently that is illegal.
Well, not if you had a hoop in your driveway, Cam. You got that long driveway.
But it has to have cars in it. That's not my problem. There is like really nice courts near my house.
Then you move the cars on the street.
Yeah, but then I have to get a basketball net. And where do I get one of those?
Actually, one of the first things I was allowed to do once I had my license. You remember when you have your G1 license? You can drive, but somebody has to be there with you. My dad would always let me, I remember I think the first time I actually drove a car with my G1 was parking the cars on the road. So I could play, I guess it would have been November, so may have been to play like road hockey or something in the driveway. It would probably wouldn't have been basketball, but yeah, just move the cars onto the road there. You get that full driveway.
Nice. And then you get the full game going.
I mean, that's what you could do. I feel like a basketball net's like $200.
Yeah, but is it $200 I want to spend because of a fucking government lockdown?
It's free on check Kijij.
I guess I could do that, but I'm sure every person their dad wants sports equipment right now.
Yeah, I know. I have all of this. Excuse me. I have all of this gym equipment here at my house, and I'm just.
No, it's like Bitcoin. That shit, man. It's only going up.
This thing's on. I have a bunch of Bitcoin just sitting in my living room. You know what? I'm not selling it now, but whenever the time comes to sell it, I'll have to be able to get more than it would sort of be worth.
It'll be like $8 a pound.
It would have to, I would sort of think, I was thinking at least 10 maybe, like at least like get what would be worth like going to the store for it. The only difference is the store doesn't have it because they're all fucking sold out.
Yeah.
That's I would.
The kettlebell business only had one sale, so.
But this is a little more refined. It's the bar, it's the bench,
yours is legit
plates.
Stuff, yeah.
I think I have like 235 pounds of total weight. Which would be more than enough for like the majority of people. I mean, I know it's certainly enough for me.
Yeah, the kettlebells are working well enough for me. You can't get thick, but you can get fit. So I'm nice and lean, nice and cut right now. Did hit a hard leg workout yesterday, the type where you're walking out like a pickle up your ass for the rest of the day. Love those.
Well, because you also did that with a pickle up your ass.
Oh, I mean, it's the only way to get correct form.
Yeah, you performed the exercise. It just sort of like straightens out your whole kind of posterior chain if you just put just a nice juicy Vlasic up there.
I gotta love a good juicy Vlasic, maybe a little bit of that garlic dill.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to play? Would you like to play a game?
You want to play a game? Yeah, sure. Give it to me.
All right, brother. Hey, this one's, you've seen it before, but you'll see it again. It's not a timeless favorite, but something we're trying out, and it's called Wheel of Death. Cam, the premise of this game is we're going to spin a wheel, and you're going to answer a question that you probably don't want to answer. Our categories today: That's Not a Sport, That's My Wife, Devil Music, Live in 3, 2, 1. And some of these are repeated because we never got to them. Unpopular Opinions, How Many Towers Fell, Kissing Cousins, Monsters and Stuff. And I believe there should be one more in there. But, okay.
Maybe not
let's
today.
spin it.
Okay.
It's the noise came from, we've already done that one. So anyway, ready to spin it?
Let's take a spin.
All right. Category today is Monsters and Stuff, the popular Deadmau5 song, which I think, Cam, you're probably a huge fan of Deadmau5, but that is not the topic of the question itself. The question today: which supernatural creature has the best chance of being real, and which one do you wish was?
Best chance of being real, and which one do I wish was? This one's a good question. This one's a tough one, also, because I'm going to start with the second half of the question. Which one do I think was? I'm going to probably say none. Because I feel like whichever supernatural kind of like, supernatural monster or figure, whatever it is, would just be treated immediately like King Kong. And we all know how that ended, right? If there was one of this like extremely rare species, it would be carted away from its homeland, put in display for, millions of people to make millions of dollars, and then probably be treated like shit. So I'm going to say I wish none of them are actually around because, we saw what happened to King Kong.
Yep.
He ends up terrorizing New York City. We don't want any of that. Right?
That's fair.
Fair, right? That being said, which one do I think is real? This one's a good question. Fuck.
Has the best chance of being real.
The best chance of being real. That's what it is. I'm going to go for a tried true here. I'm going to say something along the Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
The Sam Squanch family.
There's something in the Sam Squanch family. I'm going to say that. Mainly just because it feels like it's the most plausible. Like,
yeah, I'm on board with that.
It's either a big
Loch Ness monster, maybe not. Like,
no, definitely not, because it's in like a lake. It would be finite.
Slender Man, no.
If the Loch Ness monster was in the ocean, then you're kind of like, well, shit, it could be anything. The giant squid is probably out there. You know how much ocean there is?
Well, no, there is the giant. They found the giant squid.
I mean a gianter squid. I mean a bigger squid. I'm not limiting the size of the squid. But I'm going to say something in the Sam Squanch family, mainly because it feels plausible. That's nobody has eyes on every single mountain range here in North America, every single, untapped valley. You kind of get a big gorilla, a big human type hybrid. Who knows? Maybe that thing could keep going. Or just a hairy guy with a pituitary gland problem.
Love it. Yeah, maybe. They call those wilderness men. Hey, Cam, you ready to give it another spin?
Let's give it another spin.
And we're going to go to Kissing Cousins for your question of the day.
Ooh, Kissing Cousins. Cam. One of my favorite Elvis Presley movies.
Well, this will be a tough one, Cam. How many layers of separation would be your limit in a family tree for a one-night stand?
Ew, this is disgusting. This is disgusting, Cam. Well, of course, we did do a little. We did have a case a couple weeks ago where I believe we found out that you have to have less than. It has to be 24% or less DNA in common with somebody to legally marry them. I think that was the ruling.
I believe so.
I mean, because I know you're looking for an actual answer. I want to say none. I want to say zero.
But I'm not gonna let that happen.
But yeah, you're looking for an answer.
I'm looking for like a 5%, 10%.
Okay,
how much of those genes are shared?
So I think it has to be something like a grandparent's cousin. Or something,
okay.
Right?
That seems okay.
So it's like there's my grandparent has a cousin, let's say maybe like a brother or sister, and then that, like your grandmother's or grandparents' siblings, then have their own tree all the way down. I think if something happened there, it would be weird, but also, how's that coming up on a one-night stand? That really feels like
you might find that out later. It's like, I gotta go to my grandpa's house. You're like, same. Oh no.
That really feels like the kind of information that comes out like later.
Yeah.
And then all I do is just run the risk of just like vomiting privately when I find out, if what the situation was. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, it's gonna have to be pretty far removed there, Cam. Real gross question.
That's why we do the wheel of death.
I've
it's not
literally
always fun.
never thought about ever.
All right, let's give it one more
that being
spin.
said, we're all related some way, somehow. We all came from Jesus Christ, so right?
Spin number 3. Ooh, and we were merging between unpopular opinion and how many towers fell. All right, this week's question, Cam, as a known non-conspiracy theorist, in your opinion, what is the most likely conspiracy theory to be true?
Ooh, likely conspiracy theory to be true, of course. How many towers fell? 3, we all know that. Secondly speaking, yeah, a good conspiracy theory is, it's a thought provoker, right? I mean, hell, even something like we had just mentioned, the Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, that could be a little conspiracy theory in its own right. But we're talking about the who shot JFK's, the who did 9/11, the who is in charge of the banks. What else? What's another good conspiracy theory there? Okay.
What's a fun one? That the military. Something about the military industrial complex and oil, but I think that's just more of a reality. I don't think there's much conspiracy behind that.
Yeah.
There's some fun ones out there.
Yeah, like
there's
Bezos controls the world. I'm sure that's a conspiracy theory out there.
Yeah.
Things like the New World Order, QAnon. Are these all conspiracy theories? I
think so.
I'm not even up too much on... I mean, I said the big ones. I said Sasquatch, 9/11, and JFK. Outside of that and, like, alien landings, I can't think of anything that
alien
I feel...
landings, that's a big one.
But I can't really think of anything else that I feel like the veil has been pulled over my face. So I'm going to have to probably just say... I'm going to just have to say aliens. Mainly because that's the one where nobody confirms or denies. Like if a politician, a world leader, whoever, like stared down the barrel of the camera and said, like to me, watching the news, said, "Hey, dumbass, there's no such thing as aliens, you stupid fuck," I'd be probably more inclined to believe that person. I'd be like, yeah, you're right, I am a dumb fuck. No aliens have come to the Earth yet, right? But they never say that. They never politicians will never level with you about the existence or non-existence of aliens, which always makes a bit sketchy. Also, we had the book The Chariot of the Gods in my bathroom when I was like at my parents' place in like the downstairs washroom, and that book makes some pretty convincing points. So that being said, I'm gonna have to go with aliens.
Love it. Well, thank you very much for playing Wheel of Death. We'll come back another time with even some better questions.
Hopefully.
Do you got any Urban Dictionary balderdash?
I've got nothing this week.
That's okay. I heard of one that I thought of this week, and I thought I could throw it your way,
Well,
even if you don't have one back.
You heard it just like in the real world, you're like, huh?
Yes,
how can I
exactly. I'm like,
implement this?
I was like, what does that word mean? Then I looked it up. I'm like, okay, that comes up. You want to hear it?
Give it to me.
All right, Cam. The word of the day is blicky.
Blicky.
Yeah, and used in a sentence. These hood rats out here trying to scare us with them blickies.
I'm gonna say it's like a little gun, like not like a gat that goes like pop 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 pop, but it's like a little one that goes like pew.
Yeah, you got it. It's not so much a little gun. It is typically a pistol originating from New York. So not like a pew pew pew, but it is a pistol of sorts. I keep that blicky tucked, boy, is another way to say it. Yeah, so a little fun word of the day. So you can use that in your everyday language, everybody. Put blicky into your everyday language.
Yeah, for all you people who are actively out there with guns and running amok, shooting ablaze. This one.
Boo, 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 boo. I heard it in a rap song. That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay. And you kind of you take a lot of your linguistic lessons from rap songs, correct?
That's the only way, yeah.
Now, which
DMX, man.
which would actually kind of explain a lot, Cam. You know, when it comes to the way that your mind puts words together and thoughts together, and sort of now that I have the knowledge that you're kind of doing so with, you know, learning from hip hop, I think it all just kind of makes sense now.
Well, DMX was my first grade teacher, so
I find that hard to believe.
Well, look it up. Moving ahead.
Okay, you seem to really be going somewhere with that.
No, just he was my first grade teacher.
Yeah, I love Cam. I love when you throw out wild truths and then have no follow up to any stories.
That's what I do.
Nothing to do with how he was particularly skilled at teaching the alphabet. Nothing to do with how you were instructed to tell time.
No, I got nothing else to say about it.
Nothing else, Cam. We really got to work on your because Cam, you've lived quite an exciting life that go far beyond one follow-up sentence.
I like to keep it short and sweet, mister.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're telling something we know is true, you can go on for hours. But then when you say something that might be true, you you sort of hesitate and don't really know where to go from there.
No, it's the facts are the facts.
This is really true, though, is what you're saying.
Yeah, this is 100%
so true.
There's not. I'm looking you in the eyes.
Yeah.
Huh? My dick's on the table.
Yeah, it is. and can I just say, Cam, it is not cold in here, so I don't really know what's happening. It is pretty warm in here.
I wonder if anyone's actually pulled that shit in a negotiation where they just pulled their dick, slap it on the table, like, look at this. My dick's on the table. I don't really know what it means. I think it means like this is it.
We're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing this. And I don't really know what the expectation is once the dick is on the table.
Well, of course, we had the story of our lawyer friend. I think it was the lawyer who kept jumping against the window of his office to prove its durability. You know, I'm sure that's the exact same type of person
that story kills me, man. That was so funny.
Well,
and it killed him too.
And killed him. When I'm thinking about the logistics of putting your dick on the table, like, do you put your and the balls too?
I would imagine, yeah.
Because to just put the dick, you got to be really kind of like pressed up against there to hide the balls. But that being said, though, if you put the balls up on the table, like, you know, I'd be worried that the size of your balls could outshine the size of your penis. In which case, like, nobody's intimidated by somebody with big balls.
Some people are.
Who?
Other people.
Oh my God, Cam.
Other people.
Okay. Oh yeah. Right. See, I would be more. Imagine like somebody throws their cock and balls down on the table at a business meeting. My first thought would be, sir, why is one testicle much larger than the second? That would be it would be like, do you need a doctor?
And then you're like, my point's not getting across. I thought this was going to be a tough move. Now it's just a showcase for my big nut. This plan didn't work.
Well, especially
at all.
Cam, because you pulled your pants down all the way around your ankles, and then you kind of pulled your shirt up like you're like a 3-year-old who
unbuttoned it.
Yeah,
took it off entirely.
Yeah, kind of like a kid who's using a urinal, where like they hold their shirt up way too high and their pants around their ankles.
Yeah, I don't understand why kids do that.
Who knows? Probably just because they were told that or something like that.
Yeah, don't piss yourself.
Or you
like,
haven't.
I will make sure I don't.
Well, when you haven't mastered the way to just kind of like let your pants hang slightly below your waistline,
right?
Like that skill hasn't really gotten there yet. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't miss since the pandemic started: going to public bathrooms and pissing beside men who are drunk.
I can't say that was a problem.
It's not a problem at all. It's just not something I didn't like doing.
Well, I mean, there's a divider there. More often than not, there's a divider. It's not like you're going to a bar and you're pissing in the piss trough from Ralph Wilson Jr. Stadium. I mean, the piss trough is traumatizing for all.
What stadium is this?
I was thinking Ralph Wilson Jr., which is where the Bills play in Buffalo. I know Joe Louis Arena used to have a piss trough also. The new arena in Detroit does not. Yeah, I think it's still out there. It's still out there and probably more common than we think.
I would like to see a good piss trough.
No, you don't.
I'm pro piss trough.
No, why?
I think it's great. I think it creates bonding moments.
With whom?
I don't know. Your fellow Buffalo Bills fan.
Have you ever met a Buffalo Bills fan?
Probably. I just don't know they're a Buffalo Bills fan.
After like a hard day of work, like let's say you're out in the sun, you're sweating a lot, you're physically working, you've drank like 3 liters of water and you still haven't pissed yet. All that water is just being like maximize your potential, and then you have a meal, and then like 6 hours later, you're 4 or 5 liters of water deep, and you finally hit that piss, and it's golden brown still. Like your body is
so confused. Yeah.
Your body is fully using all of the water's nutrients and kind of expelling the bad stuff. So in Buffalo, the piss trough is kind of the same, but instead of water, it's beer. And instead of physical activity, it's not physical activity. So picture that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You can already picture. That's the country boy in you coming out, Cam. I think.
Gotta love a good piss trough.
The piss trough. Country girl, shake it for me, girl. Classic country boy kind of thing. Because Cam, you and Chet Hanks, you're getting ready for your white boy summer.
White boy summer, can't wait.
Now you're really excited for this.
Hey, Doug Ford, he told me yesterday that this summer's canceled, and I call him up. I go, Doug, there are reports saying that camping is canceled, parks are canceled, but I have other reports saying it's going to be a white boy summer.
Yes.
Can you confirm or deny? He's yet to get back on me on that one.
Yet to get back. I'm sure he has a lot of other more pressing issues to deal with right now, rather than Chet Hanks's white boy summer, which I don't think I have a problem with.
No, are people mad about that?
I think they are.
Why?
Because you're not allowed to be proud to be white or a man. I don't think. I think that's what it is. Oh yeah, if you're proud to be white, you're a piece of shit. You should be ashamed that you're white, Cam.
Gotcha. So
it is honestly
that
one of the most
guilt should be pouring down on me.
It is honestly one of the most appalling things that you can do is be white.
Okay, so it is a white boy summer, or it's not a white boy summer?
Oh, it will always be a white boy summer. We're just not allowed to say it's a white boy summer. We kind of have to meet in private with other white boys to say that it's a white boy summer. Kind of like it was almost like a secret handshake, or when Volvo drivers used to nod at each other because there were so few of them on the road. I think it's more like that.
Or the 2 fingers out the window when a Jeep passes each other?
Yes, 2 fingers out the window when a Jeep passes each other, of course. We all know that one.
You know that one. When a Jeep passes, you'll always see they put the 2 fingers out?
I don't think I have, but that being said, I've never been in a Jeep. So
I just see it. I picked up on it.
Oh, you picked up on it,
Motorcycles do
really?
it and Jeeps do it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, cyclists do it. Motorcyclists do it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do it on my-
Truckers do it. Bus drivers do it. Pretty much, if you're driving the same thing as somebody else, I think you can kind of do it. If you pulled up somebody,
I do it on my bicycle to a motorcyclist, and sometimes they go back at me. And sometimes they look at me like we're not the same. Don't you fucking equivocate us?
yeah, exactly. We are not the same at all. I can go on the highway, sir. You cannot.
I can too. I'm just not going to go very fast.
And I have to be on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
I made it to Toronto, so kudos to me.
How did that bike go?
My nutrition wasn't perfect, so I hit 2 walls at about 50 kilometers and 100 kilometers where I felt like you don't feel like your legs are tired. You feel like your whole body just wants to stop. Even though it's just your legs moving, it's a fatigue like I've never felt. That's just like, I don't want to be doing anything right now. So I just needed to, next time I do something that big will be in June, I believe. And that will be needing more carbs per kilometer.
What do you get? Some power gels, maybe?
Yeah, I was using power gels, but I just didn't have I just wasn't eating enough of them.
Oh, okay.
So I was on the probably 30-ish carbs an hour, which seems like a lot if you're not doing anything. But when you're consistently having your heart rate like the 130s for an hour straight, yeah, I should have been like the 50 range, 50 carbs an hour.
And how long did it take you to? How long was your whole trip, or how long did it take you?
Saddle and in the saddle, so saddle time 5.5 hours.
That's pretty good. Was that about what you thought you would be at?
Yeah, I was hoping to make it in 5, but just once you're in Toronto, you can't really go that fast because people think that the lakeshore is good for holding hands and walking 5 across because they're smart.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of. I've seen a lot of path. I mean, I think we each have our own views on how a path should be shared, Cam, and I think you're kind of coming at it from the biker's point. I would think about it more from the walker's point.
Well, I think the term you just used there, shared. They weren't sharing.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But
if you're blocking off someone, you are not sharing.
I mean, yeah. I see what you're saying. However, all it means is you're not sharing the little strip that you would be on at any one moment. So let's say 3 people are walking right beside each other. You are not sharing approximately 1.5 feet deep of path. You're sharing the rest of it. You're just not sharing that one particular 1.5 feet. Also, you're a biker. If you're coming up behind somebody, you can see it coming. Just fucking veer off to the side.
I give them plenty of notice.
Just veer off to the side. Why are you so important that you're allowed to be on the shared path, but I'm not?
Because I'm faster.
That has nothing to do with it, though. If you're faster, then fucking move around. I saw a biker ringing his horn at it was probably 7 or 8 senior citizens. They all had fucking walking sticks, walking kind of like 2 by 2 in the right lane of the path, right? Which, first of all, path lanes are arbitrary. Second of all, this biker,
path lanes are not arbitrary.
This biker from 50 feet away starts ringing his fucking horn to ask these senior citizens to move out of the way. Either they didn't hear him, maybe they didn't think the bell was towards them. Either way, he starts ringing even more and more. As he gets down to them, he slows down behind them. He is on a mountain bike, a Norco mountain bike. And instead of veering, 7 inches to the right to go on the grass, which his Norco mountain bike can surely handle, he decides to slow down, almost disembark, and continue to ring his bell. And now he's vocalizing himself to these senior citizens. It wasn't until myself and a fellow passerby tell this guy, "What the hell are you doing? Go off to the side." These are 70-year-old women with walking sticks on a path. This 35-year-old fucktard on his Norco mountain bike was so precious that he could not veer off a foot at all. That would have thrown off his entire rhythm, I'm sure. That's not allowed. These senior citizens with walking sticks should have the wherewithal to step off side of the path. This is not a shared path. This is a bike path.
I'm glad we're on the same page here, Cam. Those senior citizens need to fucking learn to move. That's what you're getting to here, right?
Honestly, that's that's what I'm getting to. Because if you're a man with a bell, you can do anything you want. Fuck the old people. Fuck the young people. Fuck the dogs on leashes. Do whatever you want.
I'm glad we're finally seeing eye to eye.
Finally seeing eye to eye. This goes also for the same. Cam, don't you just love it when people are on their bicycles on a narrow sidewalk and then get mad at you for not moving? Oh my God, I love it when that happens.
See, I'll anytime you're on a sidewalk as a cyclist, in my opinion,
Love it.
You need to get the fuck out the way.
Love it.
Love it. White boy summer. Can't wait.
I love it when some 35-year-old is ringing his horn behind me, yelling at
Norco.
Yelling at me because I don't hear him. I obviously have my headphones in on the sidewalk. I'm not thinking to myself that somebody on a bipedular machine is coming at max speed behind me. They yell at me because I didn't get out of the way, and I respond back, dude, that's what the fucking bike lane is for. I love doing that, Cam.
Recent reports coming in that we have a breaking headline here. Cam Osborne, anti-bike. More to come later.
I just said I loved all these things. The pull quote in all the news outlets will always say Cameron Osborne loves when a 35-year-old on a bicycle is coming full speed behind him on a sidewalk, rings at him because he assumes that I'm going to hear him. I don't because I have headphones in. Why would I assume that someone's coming full speed behind me on a bike? He yells at me for not getting out of his way, and I respond to him, hey, fucktard. That's what the fucking bike lane is for. I love it.
Cam, we got more headlines coming in.
Oh my God, they're just flowing in right now.
We Cam Osborne calling Norco cyclists fucktards. More to come.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God.
Love it. Hot.
I love it when a bike is riding on the street, but the wrong way on the street. They're going against traffic, and then they're mad at you for driving your car alongside the traffic. They get mad at you because you don't leave enough room for them to get past, going the wrong way. I love it. Fair. I love it.
All right, we're gonna get you off your soapbox, big fella. I think it's time to transition to some. I don't know. I don't know why they call it. I'm telling you
the things that I love. The quote will always say that I loved these things.
Well,
tone of voice is irrelevant when it comes to a pull quote.
It's fair enough. Hey, let's chill a little bit here, bud, and maybe give a quick recap of our favorite TV show.
You were so close on finishing that introduction.
Oh. It's time for the nightcap.
The Nightcap, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. All we need is 5 minutes to recap this week's episode. Maybe less than 5 minutes, but certainly not more than 5 minutes. We're gonna need more than 5 minutes.
Where we watch an old television show, and we give you a quick 5-minute summary of it, even though they are 44-minute episodes, and sometimes they're not that good.
Cam, I love it when you're kind of getting better as the weeks go on. When you half introduce something, I wait for that pregnant pause because I think you're building drama to the actual introduction. Then it turns out, no, you're done.
And I'm setting you up. I send you up with a big old softball, and then you just watch it cruise right across the plate, and then you're like, why isn't it out of the park? You know? Do I have to hit every home run?
Wait, are you?
I don't think so.
Wait, I think in that analogy you were pitching.
Sometimes. So now you want me to pitch?
You just said you're lobbing a soft. You got a big old softball.
So you want me to do everything? Is what you're trying to tell me? Put it down the plate and then run to the plate and hit a home run.
I'm not going to say
Holy
do it.
smokes.
Wait, run to the plate then hit a home run?
Run to the plate. You heard it here, folks. Cam's anti-baseball.
Yeah, anti-baseball, pro bicycles, though. I'll tell you that, Cam. No, I think it'd be more of just a, hey, finish what you started. You're going to start introducing a segment. You might as well finish introducing a segment. But you did eventually get there because, of course, you were talking about the nightcap. Our weekly recap into Knight Rider, the famous story about a man in his car. Let's bring you back, shall we, with another edition of the Nightcap this year. We're bringing up our stopwatches because, of course, as you know, we only have 5 minutes to get this entire episode down. I'm going to be listing off the first half of this week's episode. So let's bring you back to a beautiful Friday evening in November of 1982, where we bring to you episode 8 of season 1 of Knight Rider. No big thing. Here we go. We open up with Miles driving around, listening to some Mozart in his beautiful red Mercedes-Benz 380 SL. That's right, I knew what kind of car it was before they even zoomed in on the license plate. But, you're driving a nice car from Germany in Midwestern United States. You're going to get pulled over, and you can tell these two cops pulling over. You can just tell by their mustaches. These cops are crooked. And if the mustaches weren't enough, they break his tail light, put him in cuffs, and take him away. Miles, no! Devin Miles getting taken away. What's going to happen there? Back we see Michael Knight and Kit, where we stop for some gas, where some grease monkey who owns the place tries to steal Kit, and obviously it doesn't work. We get the whole Kit playing around gag, and we kind of get away. This was a new one, though, that his prison-style shiv could not slash a tire. I thought that one was pretty cool. Michael Knight does get the news, though, that Devin is in jail. And not just that he's in jail 412 miles away, which, if you're going 60 miles per hour, the average speed of an American highway, that would take you 6.8 hours. Holy shit, things are far away down there. We get to Devin in the jail, who's joined by a reporter who's being put there for drunk and disorderly. His name is Frank Rustin. Frank Rustin is the one who knows that not only who these crooked cops are, but that the crooked cops go all the way to the top, to the county judge. When Michael Knight comes to the jail to find him, he finds this reporter, Rustin's ex-wife. They're both looking for their prisoners. And, of course, they get the old workaround of where their prisoners are. So we're at another jail. Okay, we go to the other jail, another cop shop, and we get the workaround again. Nobody knows where these people are. This is where we do meet our big bad judge, who not only knows who Devin is, but knows that he's a threat to their kind of crooked cop organization. Said it's time to take him out, along with Michael Knight and Kit, for that matter. These crooked cops find Kit. They have a brilliant plan. They contact a local trucker and decide that the best way to take out Michael Knight and Kit would be to crush him with a semi-truck, and then I guess it would be pretty easy for them to cover up a double murder done in broad daylight. And Cam, how does the chase end?
Well, now that the half-ton truck is after Michael, he's going to pin him on a bridge. Luckily, Michael sees this coming and decides, we're not going forwards. We'll throw this bitch in reverse. Michael Knight, as well as his female co-pilot, ripping this car going backwards, keeping the enemy even closer because he's not trying to escape. He's trying to figure out where the hell they're going. He manages to get out without a crash. Obviously, the bad guys, they crash their cars, as you do. Later on during the episode, we now see that oh my god, my reading is fucking terrible. They now have to devise a new plan to get into this correction center because they know something is awry. At the correction center, we see in Devin's room a man coming in saying that they're going to be planning an escape and Devin better be a fucking part of it. They create a distraction in the fight, or in the food hall, where a food fight breaks up, or a food fight happens, and then, I know, my words, and then they run out to the wall, shimmy over it, and using a pair of pants as a rope. They steal a county truck, and the chase starts as every good Knight Rider episode should. Chase goes on, armed guards tail behind Devin, firing off a shotgun until Devin flies a car over to the bank, sending it flying, and the escape is complete because the captors don't want to go over the jump. I don't know. The car chase in this one. This is a pretty boring episode, folks. Michael's on his way to rescue Des to get. Oh my God!
Jesus Christ, Cam!
Michael's on the way to rescue Devin, gets dragged into the prison where Kit breaks him out. They take a police officer as hostage in a car at one point, only later to eject him. Meanwhile, Devin is now cornered by the police in a vineyard, and in the brink of time, Michael, Knight, and Kit come and save the day, picking him up. The police try and block off a bridge, but to Michael's avail, and of course he is going to fly over it. Flies over it, they manage to escape, and once the chase is over, Miles gets his final word with the judge and knocks him out with a single punch and walks away. Not my favorite episode, but overall, it was an episode of Knight Rider. Sorry, I don't know how to read, folks.
Came in under the time, though, Cam. That was great. You got 5 seconds to go. It's got to be a bottleneck episode where there's nothing going on. We'll save the budget for the season finale.
Yeah. It was... It felt like a lot of driving around and not really much going on.
Not really much going on. Hey, you're going to have it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually,
I
Cam.
guess that's what happens when you don't sleep a lot. Your brain is just not kicking.
Well, Cam, I think also you are not good on no sleep.
No, I'm terrible. Yeah.
Like, that's sort of the thing. I worked in a job where for years... I think that I did 2 years of 6 hours a night, kind of like between work shifts sometimes, right? Sometimes you can do it. Sometimes you can't. Cam, you need a nice 7 to 9 hours.
Yeah, I need a nap today. I'll take a nap after I take Darla to the park.
So you're taking a nap. Parks are closed.
I'm going to go to the park.
Parks are closed.
What are they going to do, arrest me?
Full cuffs, pepper spray. They're going to hog tie you, actually. That's part of the new, by the way, kids at home, yeah. So no parks, no playgrounds, no golf courses, no tennis courts. But there was sort of like a little fine print within there.
You think dog parks are closed?
There was a little fine print within there which read that you will be hog tied. Not only fined, you will be hog tied. Sometimes, depending on the jurisdiction, you maybe put in those old timey kind of like big wooden cuffs that you put your head in also, where like your hands, what are those called? Where you put your hands in through and then your head's in there instead. Whatever those are called.
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Nah, whatever those are called. Huge deal. However, don't fear if you find yourself at Kitchener-Waterloo. Kitchener-Waterloo police will not be street checking individuals. Along with Peterborough, along with London, and most recently the OPP and the Toronto police.
Isn't that funny that all the police came out? They're like, "Oh, we're not going to take what the government said."
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
I love it when they're like, "No, fuck this government. You can't just say that we're going to do things illegally now because you want to push your fucking agenda."
So here's the deal. Parks and shit, from what I read most recently this morning, Cam, and I was probably going to apply to you too, parks and shit are closed. However, they're not going to stop you like they said and check your ID to see where you're going. I think being in a park would continue to be the bylaw violation. However, you take Darla for a long walk, you can be 10 kilometers from your place. They're not asking any questions. They're not even going to stop you.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to take her to the park then. I don't think
they
see
what it's like.
Me.
I know yesterday afternoon there were some bylaw officers and things like that in some of the larger parks here in the city to kind of clear people out from, doing those when people sit down and drink vodka sodas together to kind of clear people away.
Yeah, I think that's one different. Like, I kind of get it when
that.
If you're sitting around drinking with friends, that's one thing. But I think if you're literally exercising your dog, I don't think the government should have a say in whether that's legal or not.
Yeah, no, this is great though. I gotta say though, buck of beer is looking great right about now.
Yeah, it's
if there's one thing you know about Cameron Osborne, folks, and you're listening to this episode, I want you to leave. Is that Cameron loves buck of beer and he loves people on their bicycles.
Norco bicycles.
I love people on their mountain bikes. I love it.
Love it
so much. I love it. Almost as much as I love buck of beer.
Jake Paul's fighting Ben Askren tonight.
Could not be less excited, I guess. I mean, I'm sure I could be more excited. I'm only probably not more excited because it's probably going to happen at 1:30 in the morning.
It better not.
Which is not a time that I like things to start at. I have no problem with one. Probably some great things can happen at 130, but nothing great ever starts happening at 130. You know. Well, this is another Triller fight. You know, still don't quite know what Triller is, but it's another fight that they're hosting.
Apparently, it's some sort of like TikTok comparison.
They say it's like TikTok for adults, but adults are using TikTok, and anybody who's using a fucking video app is a child. So how do you make something childish for adults? I don't know. But it'll be another Triller fight. That weigh-in looked great. This is, by the way, if you're a UFC fighter out there and you want to be gone with the monopoly that is Dana White and his 14 cell phones, you can make $500,000 for fighting Jake Paul. How many UFC fighters out there right now are valuing themselves and knowing how much money they can make? Ben Askren will make in one fight more than he's probably made his entire UFC career, right?
I don't think...
he's making the purse that I saw most recently was that Jake Paul's making $690,000 for the fight, and Ben Askren's making $500,000 for the fight. One fight, $500,000.
I don't know where Triller's getting this money from.
Ads, sponsors. I mean, that being said, I mean you put Jake Paul in your YouTube video headline. That's worth X amount of dollars right there.
Well, I think I'm reading it says it starts at 9, so if you want to tune in tonight, Cam, and we can do a little Zoom watch party if you want.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we're doing. Maybe we'll talk later in the afternoon. See if that's a thing.
Maybe. I'm thinking about going on a bike ride this afternoon just to shake off the Saturday sweepies. Oh, dude, are you nervous for tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
The Sunday Scawies.
God, not the Sunday Scawies. I'm gonna put on my fleecy pajamas.
Oh no, the Monday's coming up so soon.
I'm gonna crawl up in my bed.
Oh, I'm not leaving this bed all day.
Oh no.
Let's play our final game of the hour here. You know what it is. It's the one we always end with. Headline or asinine.
Hey. Headline or asinine. Headline or asinine.
High or no high, where we try and pull this fleece between the eyes of the snake, as they say, and figure out if a headline is real or fake.
Yes, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 segment introduction right there, Cam.
Thank you.
That was incredible. It's so nice. You know, we're on episode 66, I believe, here. Hey, the Mario Lemieux episode.
Beautiful. Beautiful champ.
Beautiful 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yes,
I believe. He snuck one in there with Sid the Kid there at the end.
You ready for the first headline?
Yeah, give it to me.
Man marries same woman 4 times, divorces her thrice in 37 days to get extended paid leave. A lot of numbers there.
A lot of numbers. Okay, so married 4 times. So married, divorced, married, divorced, married, divorced, married.
37 days.
Over the course of 37 days.
Just over a month.
And of course, and divorced, not annulled. So this marriage was consummated each and every single time. So it was like get married, bang, divorced.
Wow.
Married, bang, divorced. Married, bang, divorced. Married. So you kind of end.
Dude, that must be sick. You get to have sex 4 times.
Oh my God, that would be sick.
Holy shit. That'd be wild. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll get divorced 4 times.
I wish I could get married, divorced 4 times. But you said, can you reread the last part of that? To extend paid leave?
To get extended paid leave.
Yeah, I wonder. Having never worked a real job before, I don't really know what paid leave is versus like. I understand what maternity leave is. It's when you poop out a baby and then you get to eat Funyuns on your couch. I understand that's what maternity leave is. Married, divorce for extra paid leave. Maybe the company must have been offering something like, like a honeymoon week. You know, after you get married, you're allowed to take 7 days off kind of before or after your wedding, which would actually be a really nice thing for a small company to do. Until you have these pieces of shit out here who are going to, railroad that system This company's trying to be generous. Like, hey, you're having the most important day of your life. We'll give you a couple days to celebrate. And this guy's like, nah, I want to do it again. My biggest question going into this, was it to the same woman? That's my biggest question. It would be great if this guy had 4 wives in 37 days. But that might not be the case. Or they were like his friends. And he was like, yo, marry me for a couple days. We'll bang. And then I'll do it again. Because I want to go to Cabo. I'm going to say that's a headline.
This is a headline out of Taiwan where he did marry the same woman 4 times because in Taipei there is a law that says that you are able to take 8 days after you were married for a leave. Now, basically, he worked at a bank, pulled this scam off, and he's like, okay, I get my 8 days, divorces her, does it again, divorces her, does it again, and he's like, I get 32 days of leave. And the bank basically says, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. That's not going to fly, Cabo. And they go to the ministry, actually. They go to the labor board. And the labor board comes back and goes, this is a really greasy move you're doing, but it's not illegal. You have to give him the 32 days. And he ended up with the 32 days and a very mad employer.
Wow. But can you...
I know.
Can you fire somebody after that, though?
I assume you kind of quit because it's like, can you fire them for that? No. Can you fire them for other things? You can probably try, or you just like make it the worst environment possible.
No, you could
right?
fire somebody. You could fire somebody like that, like your extramarital affairs is detrimental to the ongoing success of this organization.
I'm no expert on Taiwanese labor board rulings. But,
you're not.
No, I skipped that class a lot in university.
Oh, okay. That was right after CP 101, and you kind of slept through it.
You got it. You got it, mister.
I got it. I got something. I'll tell you that much. Here you go, Cam. Here's a headline for you. Criminal robs 5 homes while wearing a GPS tracker.
So, crazy part about this, aren't we all wearing GPS trackers?
Amen to that. Chemtrails, am I right?
Chemtrails, am I right?
Oh, there's a good conspiracy. I picked
go.
chemtrails. I picked chemtrails, not aliens.
Yeah, that's good. I think that one's definitely real.
Oh, 100%. 100%. They're putting fluoride in the air. They are putting fluoride in the air, and we're just letting it happen.
We're just letting it happen. We all are wearing GPS devices in one way or another. I wear a digital watch. I have a phone with me at almost all times, and I recently put a chip in my body, but we'll talk about that later. What I think happened here is not so much that, it's rather a private investigator was watching this man because of some unforeseen circumstance. We'll say that people were a little bit suspicious of him because, if you're robbing multiple places, you probably don't have your shit together too much. Put the GPS tracker on him, and you got a little bit lucky and watched him for a full day, rob 4 different venues. That's a headline.
Cam, that is a headline. For different reasons, though. This is a story out of Waterlooville, England, where professional burglar Stuart Campbell has pleaded guilty to committing 5 burglaries. But the question on everyone's mind, Cam, how did they catch him? How did we catch this guy? Well, actually, the crimes were committed only a few hours after the police had fitted his ankle with a GPS tracking device after he was released from prison after serving a 6-year sentence for multiple burglaries. Can't make this up. Many of the things that were stolen were normal things: wallets, keys, jewelry. And after the 5th house was broken into, he cut off his GPS device, leaving it there. They had the proof. They had the GPS tracking proof that he was there. They found the the ankle monitor taken off at the 5th home. 6 more homes were actually broken into in that same neighborhood later that evening. So, of course, he had to plead guilty. He was sentenced again, this time to 8 years in prison. And the judge believed that this was fair because this was Mr. Campbell's 31st court appearance between 1987 to now. And the judge sort of said he was out of options. Doesn't know how much more he can convince this man or get the message through to him that you can't be stealing shit.
He must be on a first name basis with everybody.
Everybody, like, hey Jim, hey Bobby.
Kimmy, hey, I'll take the medium regular. Are you still on that Weight Watchers plan? You looking good since the last time I saw you. All right, Cammy boy. Florida's new ban on transgender students in sports would allow schools to subject minors to genital inspections.
Genital inspection. Oh man, I went through so much of early
Put your fucking dick on the table.
I went through so much of early high school trying to get people to inspect my genitals. I never knew it would. I never knew it would have been so easy. All I got to do is say, "Hey, I'm a chick. Check it out." And that could have been all it is. God, the transgendered athlete conversation is a touchy subject that I believe only Caitlyn Jenner and Joe Rogan are qualified to talk about. If you're not Joe Rogan, you should not be talking about trans athletes. He is the only person on the planet who I believe should be allowed to talk about.
We should probably shut this conversation.
Honestly, we should not be talking about this anymore because this is not the Joe Rogan Experience. Weekly recaps on every single Joe Rogan Experience episode, of course. I mean, it sounds like a fucking. Sounds like a headline that's like not true necessarily, but like obviously that headline would pop. But like it's real. Like I'm saying it's real, but like they're not gonna have a principal looking at your little wee to make sure you have a little wee. I think it's just sort of like something that's kind of like blown out of proportion a little bit. Mm-hmm. That being said, you know, if you want to compete with the big boys, compete with the big boys, or the little girls. So I'm going to say that's a headline.
This is a headline out of Florida, as mentioned, and I'll read this because I think this will give you a better idea. Now, this is not out of like little schools. This is at a high school and college levels. So the fairness in women's sports. Oh, 1 second. Come on. 1 second. There we go. So the fairness in women's sports bans follow me here. Bans transgender female athletes from competing on women's athletic teams in both high school and college sports. Although transgender male athletes may still compete on either team. In cases where the student's biological sex is disputed, the law authorizes schools to require health examinations or documentation from the student personal health care provider. So it's not so much that the deans like whip them out, boys. It's more like we can ask. And you have to show us some kind of proof. We don't need to see your dick, but we'd like to get some indication from a health professional.
Well, yeah, and like you said it right there, nobody's worried about the trans men playing on the men's team. It's literally only the trans women playing in the women's sports that everyone seems to even care about. It doesn't seem like everyone cares about...
It took me a few reads of that to wrap my head around it, just because...
just so you can get your pronouns right?
Just get my pronouns right. Zim, zir, him, she, the... yeah.
Of course. We had a girl on our football team. She was like the coach's daughter. I think the coach had a son who was an offensive lineman and then had a daughter who would be like the punter or the kicker. But then I remember she was like relegated also to like the defensive backs. So yeah, she used to get fucking creamed. I felt so bad for her every time too. It's like, you can't enjoy this. You can't enjoy being the only woman on a men's football team.
I don't think you can say a woman got creamed on the men's football team.
Yeah, I can't say that a woman got smushed.
Hit really hard? No, it's not going to work. Smash from behind? No.
Smash from behind. Got the wind knocked out of her. I always felt bad too. So it was like, it was one of those, I mean, you're young enough where I guess, I don't know, if you have like a steadfast football father, it's probably difficult to stand up to that person.
Could hardly walk after the game.
Which I can certainly understand, but I always felt bad for her because it was like, she was there to be the punter and place kicker.
What's a place kicker?
You know, like when you when you do like the extra, like the point after attempt or the you know, those sorts of things. And I think like she played soccer in her past, and that's why I kind of wish she was there. But then like she wasn't the best kicker on the team. So she didn't always get to do that. And then she was put on like the defensive, you know, kind of defensive backs where she also wasn't the best. I was just kind of like, what are you getting out? You know, I guess, yeah, be here if you want. I really don't give a shit. But like, what are you getting out of this? At least I had a girl, I played house league hockey for years, and we had a girl on our team. And then eventually we had both the girls on the team in our league, just for like a locker room sharing kind of instance. It was easier to kind of book a separate locker room once a week versus twice a week. Yeah. And one of the girl who was on my team the longest, she was fucking incredible. Like, nobody fucked with her. I remember she broke a kid's
Was she good?
Very good. Not the smoothest of handles, very quick, very physical. And yeah, there was a big thing around the league. She broke a dude's collarbone when she kind of like locked up with him, dragged him to the ground, ended up breaking his collarbone. And then for the rest of the year, all the other teams were fucking afraid of her because not only did they not want to break their collarbone, but they didn't want to have like the girl in the league break their collarbone. So she was definitely like a great teammate to have because everyone underestimated her for sure. Ready for this one?
Ready.
Here we go. Okay, I'm headliner asinine. Ontario police hiring fake shoppers in an attempt to catch small businesses selling non-essential goods.
Based on the the police's response to saying, I literally just got a text. I texted Jen and I said, "Hey, you think I'm good to take Darla Kwana?" She goes, "We're not stopping people. You don't worry about that." I'm like, all right. So based on the police saying, "We're not your fucking puppet, Doug Ford," I'm going to go ahead and call asinine.
This was such a good headline before this morning. If you had not gotten a text message mid-show. Because I was walking around Bloor Street the other day where, it was one of those things. It was like a little store where they're like open for essential business only. And I was like, how do they know? Yeah, I don't know. That was such a good headline before. It was a good one. Would you have thought that was believable?
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Fuck.
But I don't know. I love it because I'm just a fan of I don't know. I think it's so great that we're actually seeing police forces saying like, no, we're not your fucking puppet. Like, don't put this shit on us. This is your fault, not ours.
Oh, of course, right? Like, don't make us the bad guys because you're fucking up or something like that, which is great. I mean, yeah, there's hardly enough bylaw officers, or like the police force in any given town is not strong enough to be checking every single person. Or, even like any amount of people. Like the cops have real shit to do, like domestic disturbances or just general traffic violations or, like actual crime being committed. So, yeah. And I mean, we're fine. Yeah, Waterloo and Toronto, Peterborough, London. I'm sure other police forces will be kind of coming along also.
Yeah.
Kind of agreeing.
Only a matter of time.
Kind of agreeing with that. Yeah.
All right. Headline asinine, Cam. Your mic's on. Hot mic captures Oklahoma chair defecating while attending court hearing.
Oh, I love a good... We've had some good hot mics this year. Last week, there was I think he was a Liberal MP who was on a Zoom meeting with no clothes on. That was a good one, of course, because not only are we having hot mics, we're having hot cameras these days, too. People who didn't know their camera was on in the background while, they're sort of on their Zoom meeting or something. Excuse me, like that. But this one, I mean, if you're at home and you gotta go, I mean, there is nothing saying you can't, right? Like, you're like, there's nobody saying you can't do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have to go, you have to go, and you really can't hold it. What are you going to say? Hey, judge, can you give me a second? I got to take a quick shit. Can you give me a minute, Judge? The judge is going to say no. So just go and do it yourself. But that's what you got to remember, folks. Turn off your mic. Or really practice on some quieter shits. How loud is your shit that it can be like heard on a microphone? I mean, Cam, you're wearing your little headset mic, with the that you get with your iPhone or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure it's a sensitive mic. It picks up all the information, but you got to really shit loudly to for somebody to not only to ask you, like, are you shitting? Because anything, like let's say somebody drops somebody moves a piece of furniture in the other room, that would probably come off as like a, and you'd probably not say to yourself, oh, that sounds like a BM. Man, I want to know what this shit sounded like. That's a headline.
I made this one up, but I'm sure it probably has happened. They probably just never reported it.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of those.
It happens.
We've seen a lot of those. I saw one guy was driving, I think. He was driving in his car.
Well, there was the one we talked about a few weeks ago where the surgeon was performing oral surgery in court for like malpractice.
Yeah, we saw that one.
And he was like, do you not see the irony here? He's like, do you understand that I need to make money because, I'm going to go into a malpractice suit, clearly.
Clearly, I need all the help that I can get.
All right, send me your headline, bud.
Here we go. This is my final headline here for you. Headliner Ask 9. World's largest rabbit stolen from home in England.
Aww. I wonder why. I hope it's like I hope there's such a deep story behind it. Is like they had the world's largest rabbit, but also that's just something they have because they're actually like in debt to the mob, like 90 grand for their coke addiction. Something like that, where there's such a deep story, and then the news reports come, they're like, you had the world's largest rabbit stolen from you. Like, yeah, let's maybe not have a headline about this. Let's keep this on the DL. I'd love the rabbit back, and if anybody has any information, let me know. All while knowing that it's the mob who's like sending you rabbit ears in the mail and shit like that. And you're like, oh, no idea what could have happened to the rabbit. We have no idea. Where's that booger sugar? I'm going to call headline.
Cam, this is a headline here for you. It's a story coming out of Worcestershire, England, just like the sauce.
Nice.
Where the world's largest rabbit has been stolen. Back in 2010, Guinness is back, folks. They did recognize the large rabbit named Darius for being the biggest alive at 129 centimeters long, which is just about 4 feet.
Damn.
And so it seems like the rabbit was actually just stolen right from its own property sometime overnight between April 10th and April 11th. The rabbit doesn't hang out in a hutch like most rabbits do. No, the owner, Annette Edwards, really just lets this rabbit grow up like a dog. Just kind of, in a fenced-in area, hopping around, having its own fun. And Miss Edwards, the rabbit's owner, is offering a 2,000-pound reward for his return. Police do believe that this was definitely a targeted attack. The location was probably scouted days in advance, so they made sure they knew what they were doing. However, a man by the name of Robert Kenny, a professional pet detective over there in England, is a little bit skeptical about all of this. Because normally, this particular breed of rabbit only lives to be about 4 or 5 years old. Which in this case would mean that if it was awarded biggest rabbit in 2010, this rabbit would be at least 11 years old.
I'm glad we have real pet detectives.
I'm glad we're, Ace Ventura meant a lot to this young man, and he kind of decided to take this into the future of his life. But there you have it. Yeah, this who knows? There could be some foul play. Maybe we'll follow up on a story. We've never followed up on a story here. On headline.
No, we never do.
We've never followed up. It'll be like someone's being.
We say we will.
Someone's being sued for someone died. No follow up ever. Maybe one day we'll have some follow up.
He's currently in court for malpractice suit, attending court while malpracticing.
Exactly.
Follow up on that, Cam. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out.
Not my job to figure this stuff out. To report headlines or to report not headlines.
Hi-os or
I have
no
one job.
hi-os. That was the segment
Salamis
there.
or fucking bolognas.
Folks, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of the show. Thanks for listening. Remember, you can rate, review, like, and subscribe because the podcast is everywhere. You can reach out to us at twoceesinapod@gmail.com.
Hey, never forget, folks, next time you grab a fruit, just forget Just like my dad, who has a snipped bananas can't reproduce.
Take care, folks.
Continuing tonight on Two Cees in a Pod. 96.7 on your.
Two Cees in a pod, 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 two Cees because we're two Cees in a pod, just like two Cees in a pod, two Cees in a pod at gmail.com.